Hey, welcome back. This is Minding Your Business, Lancaster Chamber of Commerce. Next guest from the city of Palmdle, Mayor Steve Hofbauer, Council Member Richard Loa. Welcome, welcome.
Morning.
Good morning. Whatever time it is in the Antelope Valley. This could be a video that somebody watches a month or two from now, and so it's a beautiful morning in Palmdale, California.
It's always a great day in the Antelope Valley.
So we love having the mayor on. Richard, we love having you too, because we're going to talk about what's going to be in the paper next week or tomorrow or later in the day.
I'm not sure what's in the paper sometimes. I get surprised many mornings. So,
you know, what's important for me is seeing happy stories, seeing cool things that happen. So I would imagine in your crystal ball, you know some things that are going on that are. You got a new city manager.
well, starting next month in January, J.J. Murphy will be coming on board and taking the reins. He's been kind of riding shotgun on that wagon up there, and he's moving over to the pilot seat. So that'll be great.
Okay, so here's a tough question. What does he bring? What does he bring that is, just sealed the deal for you, or some talent? I know he rides a unicycle. I've seen that.
And I'm sure there's many more rumors out there that I'm not aware of yet.
But he's former military, right?
Yes, he's retired major, U.S. Air Force. JJ brings some youth and enthusiasm and energy to that position that I think is.
I was going to use the word energy.
Yeah.
I think he's really going to push forward on issues that are really important to the city at this point in time. We need to catch this economic boom that's going on nationally, that somehow, to some extent, is evading the city of Palmdale
And the valley in general. I think the whole valley can be doing better than we are.
Well, I just I love the Antelope Valley. You know that, but
yeah,
it's like we're the
us
first.
too. That's why we keep sticking around.
You bet. Yeah, that's right. You got to have a passion for
Right.
it. So we're kind of like the first ones to have a challenge and the last ones to feel the uptick.
Right.
A lot of that, it tends to be from the financial community. I sat with a bunch of bankers, and they told me how, well, it's kind of tough to make loans out there because there's when the area got burned before, we got burned really bad. So they're a lot more cautious about their lending practices, and we're working with them on that. And really the key is, and this is the thing Richard and I talk up at different business and economic forums, is all the positive things that are going on. And I kind of get are you kidding me? I get that all the time from these guys when I tell them about things that are happening out here.
Right.
Lockheed's got huge expansion plans that they won't tell us about because it's all secret.
Right.
Northrop has got such huge things going. And these are not just temporary short-term things.
Right.
We've got some new contracts coming up with Kinkisharo. So there's a little bit of a downturn right now with their staff over there. But we've been working, Richard and I have been talking with the different organizations out there to tide these guys over. Been talking with the college. Can we get these guys into some training while they're until the next contract comes up? And they've got some real positive feedback on that. So there's so much coming down the pipe right now that it's gonna look like a tsunami when all these things start hitting all at once.
And we think, going back to JJ, we think he's the guy that can really ride herd to make sure these things do get accomplished, because sometimes initiatives are indicated and then they really don't come to fruition. And we want to make sure that these things are really very exciting, and they're going to be dynamic for this city. And we think that JJ is the right guy to make sure these things happen.
Sales 101, do not take an easy no.
Yeah.
Keep back, so JJ will keep it on the list. And
Well, the
he'll
other
keep
thing
asking.
too is if you don't ask, the answer is no.
Right.
And so he's good at asking those hard questions, and he's not afraid to get out there in the community. We've got some meetings coming up. We may have some other things that that we can announce maybe in a couple of weeks that are coming down the pipe. You don't want to jump the gun or get people afraid that you can't have a conversation with them without it, the whole world knowing about it. And there's competitors out there that are always watching these things. So you talk to you know, for example, you talk to McDonald's and the guy from Jack in the Box wants to know what's going on. So with all these things going on out there, there's a lot happening, and we're just really excited about it. And December, in just a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
we're going to have the ribbon cutting over at the Amargosa Ponds Recharge Center. So, you know, that big...
You know, we shot a nice little video, but what a windy day, and nobody wants to, I need to upgrade my equipment because nobody wants to watch a video where they can't hear
All they
anything.
hear is the wind. They're out there putting in some split rail fence. That's a huge deal for the entire valley to get that
And this is
place
something
in.
that you've been working on for 10 years.
Yep, yep. And
That's one thing JJ won't be able to help us with, the winds.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet he's got some ideas.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We've got you know, for 20 years, park over in Rancho Vista has been installed, and we're moving forward with that. We've got a lot of exciting things happening for the expansion plans over at Yellen Dog Park. We got the parade is going to be going between the Yellen and Missouri this year.
That's right.
So we'll be able to have
December 14th.
is that
Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll have a staging point and a place to end where you can legitimately kind of maybe even gather around a little bit too.
Wow.
So we're looking to see how that one works out too.
Got to use those parades. I like how the city of Palmdale uses all the different, has their own events, but also ties in with the community events and makes something a little even larger than it. You've
Well,
got
that's
some
really the
great
key
venues.
is partnerships and leverage.
Right.
And that's something that I'm a big proponent of. Government can't and really shouldn't be doing it all. Government's got some core duties that we have, and part of that is facilitating the organizations, the private sector, and the volunteers to be able to make it better. And how can we help that be better? And that's really where we're at. And so I think that it's there's a lot of things that are in the works, and more things coming down the pipe here in the very near future. So.
Man, I see the Antelope Valley, especially the city of Palmdale, there's just things going in every direction. It's exciting.
Well, it really is. It's going on all over. We've got Richard and I are on the bus agency. We're almost there with getting all of our bus fleet converted over to electric. We're working with AQMD to get electric buses out at some of the school districts.
Wow.
I mean, and that's one of the things that's really bugged me for a long time is we take our kids in some of the most disadvantaged neighborhoods, and we take these kids that their parents can't drive them to school. We stick them on a bus that's some of the dirtiest machinery
The old
that's out
belts,
there.
yeah.
And it's belching black smoke taking these kids to school. What sense is this making? So we're working with the school districts. We did one out on, I think it was Keppel or Wasolna. And it was funny because we asked them, well, open up the hood so we can see inside the bus. And they opened it up, and a bird had built a bird's nest under that hood. So what's that tell you
I
about?
haven't looked under there for a while.
Well, that and also the fact that you don't have all that toxic stuff going on under there. So,
Oh, I
and they're
see.
so quiet,
Yeah.
they actually have a little machine that plays jingles outside, like a little music box as the
So
bus
you know
is
there's-
moving, so the bus is coming. So that's pretty cool. Our newest 45-foot electric commuter bus was just delivered. We're starting to take delivery of those. So pretty soon you'll be able to take those electric commuter buses down there as well.
And they have the little badge that says "Made in the Antelope Valley."
Made in the Antelope
right.
Valley. That's
That-
right. Yeah.
That
And
like
one thing that's coming up with the buses is that I believe some weekends are going to be provided free rides all weekend long.
Right. We're going to be having that at our upcoming meeting to discuss some incentive programs to get people to get out there and ride. You know, everybody talks about how nobody's riding a bus. And I go to all these regional planning meetings, and they're telling us how ridership is down. And Richard and I go to our meetings, and we're working on programs making positive differences. Our ridership, what did they tell us? Our ridership's up like 16% or something like that? Because of the fact we're tweaking it, we're picking people up where they need to be and taking them where they need to go at the time they need to be there.
Right.
And we're small enough that we can be flexible to do that. And it's great. I mean, I take my grandkids love riding a bike. My grandson loves riding on the big 60-foot articulated ones. He likes sitting in the middle and watching the bus twist. He thinks that's cool. So,
Until that day he gets to go to Europe.
well, yeah, there's cool stuff going on there too.
I thought, of course I think a little differently, but I think it'd be fun to have a group of friends get on the bus and just ride around for an hour and have a little.
Well, we should do that. Come on out. We'll bring a video, and we
figure-
can tape a.
And then we'll figure out where we're going to have brunch and then where we're going to have lunch.
There's plenty of places along that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You plan it that way on purpose?
We do it that. Yeah, we take the we have the Antelope Valley lunch brunch tour.
We got just a minute and a half. Any new public art coming out? Anything in the art world?
Well, the Corson Arts Colony, that place is starting to fill up. We've got 40 units over there for veterans, and that's got an art component to it. There's always, between Legacy Commons and Corson over there, there's a lot of art things happening. And this past weekend, a lot of us were out over at Saves and over at Corson Park, painting the buildings and sprucing that up. Corson Park looks nothing like it did 2 years ago. That's really amazing. It's very bright and cheerful, and the kids are loving it. We just had pallets in the park over at Marie Kerr, and we had all the kids over there doing paintings and things like that. So
Painting pallets?
just taking their art palettes, the paint and stuff in there,
Gotcha.
and just having kids come out and paint and have a good time. So that's pretty cool.
Kids outside doing something
Yeah, you know what?
that isn't electronic.
If people will say there's nothing to do, and I got to tell them you're not looking, because there's so much to do out here with kids. It's crazy.
The Valley Press, we do our calendar, and the Valley Press puts in 10 opportunities every week, things to do, ways to volunteer.
Well, Richard and I are out there all the time between our kids and going out to other events that the city and our partners are sponsoring. It's a lot of fun.
Hey, from the city of Palmdale, Councilmember Richard Loa and Mayor Steve Hofbauer. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
Appreciate
Great.
that.
Thanks, Chris.